I knew all the rest already.
Oh, so you were already a guitar player when you saw him?
Oh yeah. So when I was 15.
Okay.
Oh, we'll get into that one, right? Because everybody has their why did you start playing thing.
Yeah.
I was on a motorcycle.
That was very organic, by the way.
It was?
Yeah, because I wanted to talk about that.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
So
So you're 14 or 15?
you got to watch out for Monsanto. They like to go and grab the organic things and then corrupt them.
They do.
Okay, enough politics.
Yeah.
I'm on a motorcycle. I go to pull out into traffic, and a car hits me, turns me into a hood ornament, pops my leg out, and I'm in a full leg cast, a cast longer than Monica. And sorry, why are you picking on me? So, which Bill Cosby actually signed my cast.
Did he really?
Yeah.
All right.
It was back before we knew anything. But yeah, I everybody had that first Bill Cosby thing, one called Himself, and you thought, oh wow, he's funny. But he signed that cast. It was my mom took me to see him for my birthday when I was 16.
Wow.
But anyway,
So
we cut it off, and the guy goes, "You want that?" And nah. So I was laid up for the summer.
Oh, okay.
Friend of my brother's. My brother used to play guitar.
And what town, by the way? You're in Jersey, right?
I'm down in by Fort Dix and McGuire.
Okay.
And so this guy comes over and he's like wanting to talk to my brother. He wants to sell his guitar. And my parents were the parents that would take in anybody.
Okay.
So there were. I'm third in line, but there were other stragglers around that my parents took in.
Right.
And he was staying with us at the time, Billy. And a guy named Mike wanted to sell the guitar to my brother, who had been playing in bands, who actually was managed by my physics teacher before I ever went to high school. Billy didn't have the money to buy it. I said, I'll buy it. I had no desire to play guitar.
Okay.
I had no interest in playing guitar.
But you wanted to be part of that scene, whatever it was.
I didn't know anything. I just knew, I just heard guitar and I went, I'll buy it. I didn't have $30 at 16, not back then. I go into the kitchen, my dad's there on the phone with his brother at the time, and I said, can I have $30? Points at his wallet, and I grab the wallet and all my crutches. And he hands me $30. I go back out, I hand him the $30. Here comes this, I didn't bring it, but it's...
Oh, you still have it?
I absolutely still have it. It looks like a Les Paul. It's a Les Paul knockoff, but it says Trump on it. This was a long time ago. Whatever you think, I don't care. But it was a Trump Les Paul copy. I don't think the guy made guitars. I don't think his family made guitars. I don't know what they were doing
It
back
could
then.
be the adjective, like this trumps all other guitars or something.
It trumped none of them. But I actually did use that guitar on my original music. I used it for a little part in a song called Contradiction.
So single coil humbuckers.
That had 2 humbuckers in it. It was literally just, it was amazing that it would stay in tune. Most people, they go, I taught guitar for a little while, and parents would always say, well, what should I get him? And I said, do not get the cheapest thing. Well, but if he doesn't like it, if she doesn't like it, what do I do then? Don't get the cheapest thing, because they're not going to like it. And here's why, because the action on the guitar
is 4 inches off the neck.
You looking there, the action there?
Yeah, so you see how this goes? The closer it is to the neck, the better your action
The easier it is to play it.
Yeah.
Because this was actually the guitar I used with, when I was on with the Amish Outlaws a lot.
Oh, you got to pick.
A lot of noise.
Look, you came prepared.
I'll pick you. But it's like, for a kid to play a chord.
Oh, it was so hard in the beginning.
You can't.
Yeah.
This is out of tune. What? Anyway. That's enough, because then we're going to have the copyright infringement. But
you can't play more than that.
That's Joe Walsh, Funk 49. But a kid can't play that.
No, not when there's bad action.
No.
And just show folks just the effort to put a chord together. Like,
that's easy.
Do you remember the day you first learned how to play bar chords?
I don't remember the day. However, I do remember. Now this is acoustic. Acoustic's a lot harder to play.
So much harder.
But when you this is a Martin 1997 anniversary edition. You see it down in there, special edition.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Can you zoom in on that, Monica? Try not to get my face. I'm not HD friendly, I told you. You got it? Okay, good, great. But
Got a beautiful tone.
Yeah, it's a great guitar, but playing that
It's so
is
hard
hard
for young
because-
fingers.
yeah, they're small.
Yeah.
If the action is up high, like the action on this is really, really low.
Right.
If you're looking at it, I don't know if she can see it or not. My head's probably in the way. But this is a $2,000 guitar. And if you buy a $30 guitar,
It's
unlike
frustrating.
the Trump model that I got, if you buy a $30 guitar from a store, you're not playing that.
No, and I tell
And little tiny fingers.
Oh God, no. And I tell people, start your kids on electric. And all the parents say, no, I want to start them on acoustic because it's nicer. And no, they'll have more fun on electric and they're more likely to stick with it and it's easier to play.
And it's not about you, Mom, it's about him.
Right.
It's not about you, Dad, it's about her.
Yeah.
You know, go and get a $200 guitar. Don't get that 120 watt amp.
Get a 15-watt practice.
Get a
amp.
fit. That's what I had. It was from Sears.
Oh, really?
It was literally like the size of like a Bible. You know, it was the size. It was the size and width and thickness of a Bible, and it was just no frills, nothing. It was volume, tone, on, plug in. That's it. And eventually I found out about the toys. You know, distortion pedal, chorus pedal, and then you start adding that stuff on. You're like, I'm move on. I'll wash the car.
Right. I had a lawn business. That's how I did it. Now, I build. My dad is an engineer. And somewhere I found a 1-watt amp. And he's an inventor. So he had this little box for something he had been inventing. I stole one of his metal boxes, drilled holes in for input, quarter-inch input, quarter-inch output. And I set up, somehow I connected AC to it. I don't know how I did it. And I had a 1-watt amp that I treated like a distortion box. So I would put guitar into the 1-watt amp. Then the output from the 1-watt amp hit the input of any guitar amp I used, and it was just this dramatic overdrive, like dramatic.
What did it sound like? Did you record it?
Yeah, all the
What, did you like it or?
That was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful, and it created great distortion, and it was free because it was just stuff lying around the house, so I could plug it into my used $10, $15 amp.
Yeah.
I even converted an FM radio into a guitar amp once because I didn't have the money to get a regular amp initially. So you could just take out the tuner, create an input where the FM tuner would go into their little crappy amp, and you put 1 + 1 1-watt amps, and you get enough volume to fill a bedroom.
Okay, you just created 17 questions.
Okay.
How old were you when you did that?
14, 15
Okay,
maybe?
why did you know to do that?
My dad's an engineer, so I always like to tinker.
Did he tell you about that?
He helped me.
He helped you?
He helped me.
Who
So-
came up with the idea saying, hey, let's do this? You or him?
Me.
And you said, hey, I want to make this happen?
Yep.
Where had you gotten the influence to make that happen? Like, what was it like Keith Richards, can't get no satisfaction, where he blew the amp?
No, you know what? I think I knew the stories about the Kinks when they would take the razor blade to the speaker.
cut it, yeah, I got to be it.
So I knew those stories. I knew the stories about Hendrix putting amps next to each other,
Causing the feedback.
causing the feedback. So I wanted to create distortion. I don't know where I specifically, or what I emulated, what sound I specifically emulated, but I knew that they were using technology to create distortion, or like the Leslie speaker that would physically whirl in a
That
cabinet.
was so cool.
I mean, it's brilliant. So I just had this concept. I wanted to create a cool sound.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money to create a cool sound, so that's what I did.
You like what's his name?
Oh, I
the
know you're talking-
Deaky amp that
Oh,
they made for Brian
Mesa
May.
Boogie. Oh, no.
No, it was this Deaky.
Oh, I don't know that one.
The guy Deacon was the guy made it. It's Wikipedia that.
Right.
I think it was called the Deaky.
Yeah, I know. Brian
But
May
it was
is
how
very-
he got his tone, and they made it for a little while,
Crazy. It's
and then
crazy good.
and then it went away because you only need one Brian May. You don't need
No, that's
400.
probably why. You're right. And then you look at what's his name, Schultz from Boston.
with the
created-
Rockman stuff.
Yeah.
We all love Boston sound,
Yeah,
and that was it. It was one and done.
yeah. Now you're now. So when you have an amp, are you a sample kind of sound guy, or do you have tube? Like what's the sound you have?
Okay, so what I have now, when I originally started, it was with like Boss pedals.
Okay.
Which
Yep.
everybody
Everyone
started
has
with.
Boss pedals.
And then when I finally, oh my gosh, that digital, they had a DD3 digital delay pedal.
Okay.
When I got that, it was like $150, like 7 million years ago.
Right.
And I got it at Russo's from Joe. I pointed that way because Russo music is that way. It's behind Monica to the left. It's in Bordentown. Is that in Bordentown still? No.
I would think
don't know.
Hamilton.
We're in
would be the
Bordentown.
address.
That's Hamilton.
Yeah,
okay. But anyway, that's where I got my first guitar. That's where I got all my stuff from them. And so when I got that cathedral that's on Diver Down from Van Halen.
Right, right.
That bounce, 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 bounce. That when I first learned how to do that whole thing,
Right.
I thought I had everything right there in 2 pedals.
Oh yeah, that's
The distortion pedal.
Yeah.
And then I went, well, not everything's distortion. Well, then let's figure out how to make a clean sound work, you know.
Right,
And then
right.
you get a chorus on it, and then you got 17 things strung along, and you go, yeah, that's a mess. Somebody's going to get killed here.
Did you get adept at the wah-wah pedal? Were you ever good at that?
I was not. I did have a talk box.
Oh, like a la, what's his name? Frampton, Peter
Yeah,
Frampton. You have
yeah.
one of those? Or you
Well, I had one.
have- Okay.
And when I was 25, another car accident. I wiped out my face, and this is all metal.
Literally. No, you're not being silly.
I'm not. No, that's all. I won't gross you out. I don't want to mess up the makeup they put on my face to make me HD friendly. But there's literally, you can feel screws in my head, face, whatever. You can feel them. So doing that, I did use it, a talkbox effect on, again, back to my original music,
Did you use it on that song?
on a song called Always Something.
But not on the Frampton song.
But here's the thing. No, I didn't. You know, oh gosh, who can do what Frampton does?
It's like
he
his-
had something else there that you didn't know about.
You think?
Mine never sounded that clean, that sweet. It never sounded like Sambora's.
He was like
You know?
a rock version of George Benson, because George Benson could sing with the guitar, and that's what Frampton was doing on that.
But then here's the thing, the sound,
Yeah.
your mouth is making that sound. So when I started to use the talk box after having an accident, it was the worst headache on the planet
Oh my
because
God.
my
All the
jaw's
metal's gonna
broken and stuff.
reverberate,
It's all,
right.
yeah, it was awful. I'm like, okay,
Right.
we didn't have eBay. We just went and found somebody that would buy it.
Right, right,
I don't need this anymore. I'm not
Yeah.
using it.
Right, right.
So that was my experience with that and all the little tricks and stuff. But these days, it's it's a Mesa amp.
Oh, so you have a boogie?
Yeah, the Triaxis, the Mesa preamp. I went Mesa everything.
Right.
Um,
and that's tube, obviously.
Yeah. It was all rack mount stuff. I mean, it's just
Oh, so you don't have the original
I don't have a
112
stack.
or the 212 or
No,
whatever.
I
they
just
have.
have it's a little tiny Mesa speaker.
Now, do you know their origin story, right?
No,
Oh.
what is it?
So the story of Mesa Boogie,
Okay.
which I've read about and I've Wikipedia'd. I used to have it wrong. I think I have it right now.
Yeah.
So a guy is running a repair shop or some kind of amp shop. His buddy drops off, I believe it was a Fender Champ or a Backstage, a small Fender like a 112.
Yeah.
This guy decides to play a positive trick on his friend, and he took out the amp and put in the equivalent of a Marshall or something like that, and a more powerful speaker,
Okay.
and then turned it into a mini secret super amp. And I know I'm getting the story a little off, but it's very
all right.
Wikipedia-able.
Okay.
But basically, the concept, it's like taking a Chevelle and putting a Mustang engine, or I can't think of a better car metaphor, but something like that. Or Young Frankenstein putting a different brain in someone.
Yeah.
But in any event, so his friend gets the guitar amp back, and it's not what he thought. It's not this little practice amp. It's whatever it is, a 50-watt super-powered, fantastic amp. Then the word gets out, more and more people want this, and that's how Mesa Boogie was born. Something like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I've always wanted one, and I never took, invested the money to get one.
I got lucky because the thing was everybody was either Marshall or Fender.
Right.
And I have a horrible tendency to stay away. Like if the crowd is there,
Right.
I want to be out here
Yeah.
on the periphery. I don't have to be isolated from it.
Yeah, 'cause
but I
Mesa's
want to
not
be out here to
isolated.
see where it's going.
Right, right.
If everybody's going that way, I'll nudge that way. Whatever the trend is. Like when everybody like Motley Crue and Def Leppard when I was in high school, I was kind of over here to the side.
Right.
But then again, I was in a marching band, so.
I grew up hating Bruce Springsteen in Matawan, New Jersey. And now I think he's wonderful.
I didn't like Bruce either until I went to a show.
He's amazing.
3 hours later, I went,
Yeah.
well, first off, if
Yeah.
you go to a Bruce show and you get into your seat, you're like, okay, this is good. We're 7 miles away from the stage. And then everybody comes in.
Yeah.
And the minute he walks on, you get that charge of
Oh,
everybody.
my
You
God.
feel everybody, their energy. It's like
yeah.
going to Disney World.
Oh.
And you walk up, you get to the Magic Kingdom and you see that, and all those little kids are insane.
Yeah.
And if you can't feel happy there, you're a miserable person.
Yeah, right. The positivity abounds.
Exactly.
So I saw him 5-6 years ago, shortly after Clarence died. And they did the thing where they, I think, is it Rosalita? Which is the big sax solo? I mean, he has a lot, but
That would probably be.
probably. So they did Rosalita, and then they just stopped, and they had silence.
Put a light on his chair or something, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah. So it was just the lighting that made my eyes all
Oh,
red.
yeah,
It had
yeah.
nothing to do, but it was so powerful.
Was that a Giant Stadium?
No, I saw him in Philly, and then a buddy of mine, we went together, and somehow we managed to get ourselves in the bad seats behind the stage, but my friend said, these are the best seats in the house. So sure enough, we're backstage, probably 13 feet from Bruce, with an unobstructed view from behind. And no one wanted to sit there, they were empty. And what was amazing is that I realized he's a modern day Tony Dorsey. So there was a set of stairs that go from the under the stage to the front.
Okay.
He got out there early, and then he had just a huge, sincere smile on his face. And you know that because when he's looking our way, where there's few people, he's smiling.
Yeah.
As each member of his insanely large orchestra comes up the stage, he would shake their hand, go like this, and smile and say like, have a great, whatever you could see him mouthing.
Yeah.
It was just pure positivity. Every single person who walked up, he gave that to. And then I realized, wow, he loves what he's doing. And that positive energy that he's giving to each of his band members is then being teleported out to us. It was amazing.
Well, you just reminded me, and that's awesome that you got to see it. Now, when I said Giant Stadium to you, I remembered when I went to see him.
Okay.
One of the last shows at Giant Stadium before they tore it down.
Right, the old, right.
So he had 2 outcroppings in the front, and I actually ended up at the front of one of them, like literally the bike rack barricade was there.
Right. So you're right in front of the bike
So
rack.
when you told me that I actually have a first-hand Bruce Springsteen
Oh, you
story.
do? All right, let's hear it.
So he's, doing his thing, and he's going down and around, he's talking to everybody, he goes on that side, and I was like, oh, he's coming this way.
You're the girl who danced on stage with him in the video?
yeah. That was pre-op. This is post-op.
Yeah.
I figured I'd get ugly and stop TV. So I'm like, whoa, he's going. I had a flip phone, horrible camera on it.
Right.
And I'm like, he's got to come this way. He's got to keep balance, right? So he comes up here into where we are. He's literally where your glass of wine is from me, and I ended up getting pushed by the 7,000 people behind me.
Oh, right.
And there's this tiny girl in front of me, and I'm like, she's
Holding
going to
the
get
bike
crushed.
rack,
Yeah,
to protect her, right.
She made Monica look like Gulliver, And I'm sitting there trying to stop, and everybody's starting to grab Bruce, and they're pulling him down.
Oh, really?
I put a book that I wrote. I put a picture of it in it. Where
I like that you just said that the book that I wrote, but we'll get to that. Yeah.
because it's the only place where I can show you this picture.
Right.
Because the phone is gone, and I've lost the photo.
Right.
So he's literally this far, and I'm trying to take a picture, and I'm
Right. Punch me.
No. I got the picture, and you literally see him being dragged underneath by the,
Right.
into the
So what year
depths.
is this? Like early 90s, maybe?
No, it's 2000.
Oh, so much more recent than that.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
No, it must have been before I was in this band. Somewhere between 2000 and 2007.
Okay.
Somewhere there.
Right.
And I literally said to him, "Hey, can you back up? I'm crushing her." And he goes, "Yeah, sure."
Oh, that's
He can't
fantastic.
get up. He had to have everybody come in and get him. He's laughing at me because I said, "But it's literally, I'm right here."
So you're just
back
feet
up,
from
back
him.
up. Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's funny.
Telling the guy it's his show,
Right.
and I'm telling him back up because I'm
Oh, that's
crushing this
fantastic.
girl.
And this is not at the Stone Pony. This is at a huge.
It's a giant stadium. There's 80,000 people there, 60,000, whatever.
That's hysterical.
It was at the old Giant Stadium, so whatever it was, he sold it out like 17 days in a row. But I literally told Bruce Springsteen to move at his own show like an idiot.
funny.
Yeah, I felt like I was cringing the entire time afterwards.
But, yeah.
He must think I'm a total tool.
Or he got a kick out of it.
Or he didn't care. He's like, yeah, the ball's on this guy.
Yeah. Or he just has
Who
a
are
funny
you to
story.
tell me?
Yeah,
And he promptly
he's not
forgot.
wired like that, though. He probably
Not at all.
he might have exited that whole scenario. Thank God that girl didn't get hurt. That was nice of the guy to.
He couldn't get up. They had him every single
So
direction.
I'm picturing it wrong, that he would be up here and you're down here.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Oh, but because of your
I just
height.
left the shot.
Yeah.
Okay, raise it up. My eyes are up here. I'm literally like this,
Right.
holding the stage.
Right.
He's here.
Oh, I see.
He's down on his knees.
So
He
you're
went
not
down
holding
to
the
get
bike rack,
something.
you're holding the edge of the stage.
Well, I was initially, and then it started to move, and then I got the stage, and
Oh, so
she's
you're-
still under here,
so
and I'm
his
just
feet
like,
are at the edge of the stage.
his head's here, and he's down. He's literally getting pulled in, and they're at this moment, it lasted maybe 15 seconds, but people are literally flying in from everywhere because he's getting pulled in 17 directions.
And he's the kind of guy who will want to mix it up, which is probably difficult if you're his
care.
handler.
He didn't care. He was just like, oh, this is how I die. Okay.
Right.
You know, and then nobody would have been able to go to Broadway or watch the Netflix special.
No, he works really hard. I mean, having seen him, he works so hard.
He's just amazing. He's got a new album coming out, I saw.
Oh, does he really?
No, that's in June. Anyway, that was my Bruce Springsteen story. I just remembered it.
All right, well,
Sorry, I didn't mean to slip in the
No,
the book.
it's all good. We're very free form over here on Guitar Tales. So, we got this segue, and let's talk about it. You wrote a book. Why did you write a book? What was it about?
So we used to play this place in Pennsylvania called the Bent Elbow. It was in Fort Washington. And this guy had a baseball team of kids. Giovanni was his name, was his name. I haven't spoke to him in a long time. So his children used to come see us, 1, 2, 3, 5, all of them, 9.
Okay.
9 of them. And this place it would get packed. The walls would literally sweat, you know, because it's that hot and humid.
Okay.
And then he came one time, and then he starts following me on Facebook. And I used to be a lot more energetic with what I would post, you know, just ridiculously funny things on there. And he started contacting me. He said, "You ever think about writing?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I got a bunch of songs. What do you want to hear?" He said, No, writing, like writing stories."
Yeah.
And I said, "I never thought about it." I said, "Nobody reads. Why would I do that?" And I said, "The fact that I even waste this is just me getting this off of my chest. I didn't put it there for anybody. I just was kind of like trying to talk to somebody that didn't exist." But I thought they existed in my brain.
A little bit of self-therapy.
Yeah, well, I figured, you know, this person's going to understand my situation. Little did I know there were multiple people that understood the situation. So he started it with like audiobooks, not audiobooks, ebooks they call it.
Right.
For like Kindle and what was the other one? The Fire for Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
So there were a bunch of these little ones. And then, you know, I got up to like volume 6, and they were just, you know,
so were you
stories that happened with. One was stories that happened in the band. One was just they're just anecdotal. I tried to make them funny.
So it's like now, was it like an oral history, or was it typed? Were you dictating?
No, I was literally clickety-clacking it myself on my computer.
Well, that's fantastic.
And then I would just, you know, send it over to him, and then they would, whatever they knew what they were doing, like everybody here knows what they're doing to make this happen and get into somebody's computer.
So that's fantastic. So you from scratch, no ghostwriter, maybe a little editing on their end, but you just wrote up.
No, they didn't even edit it.
Oh, really?
Oh, I'm annoying with things like grammar and spelling. Like when if I see somebody spelled something, somebody put something the other day, find, and it was supposed to be FINED, and they put FIND, and I just, you know, I sit there and I type, and well, you know, if you find that, and I just start playing off of it in the thread, and then people that know me, they start liking it. They know what I'm doing. You know, it's not. I don't know. I don't mean it in a mean way. It just happens.
I'm sure it's taken in.
Usually I have to type it and send it to the bass player so that it gets out of my system and I don't put it up live.
Right.
But anyway, so we made a bunch of those, and
so you would do like a chapter at a time, and then they would get it added.
It was like a complete ebook, if you will.
Oh, so they didn't put it out there till you were done with all your chapters.
No, it wasn't even like chapters. It was like an ebook, like a small little thing that you read on your Kindle.
Like a 120-page book or something like that?
Yeah, little stuff. Like some of them were shorter, some of them were longer, but they were just on different topics, and it was just whatever the heck came to mind, and I would go off on it, and I'd send it to him. And then after about a year or two, he came in and he said, "I want to do an actual book." And I said, "Why?" He said, "No, you know, a real book where your pages and everything."
Because it ain't broken, why fix it? Or you were not that ambitious?
The same reason, I wasn't that ambitious. The same reason, nobody reads.
No,
if it doesn't, like, you know, Guitar Tales with Dave. That's about the max of their reading, and then they go on. They look at the picture, and they scroll to the next thing. And I was aware of this at that time.
Right.
And he goes, "Well, we could take all of them and put them together." And I said, "They don't work together. They're just things." I said I would have to tweak it and make them flow to each other. And so I spent time doing that, and then, you know, ended up putting the book together.
That's a tremendous amount of work.
Well, I didn't think about it at the time.
But Yeah, I know it is. I wrote a chapter to a legal book once, and it was an insane amount of work for the amount of pages I generated because it's a different process than just an article.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we can play 6 Degrees of Guitarmicist. Scott's band, the Smoking Jackets, the drummer in that band, Tommy Janarone.
Right.
He actually wrote part of one story.
Oh, really?
It was like this. I don't know. It was like this Jersey Shore zombie
Degrees of
sort
Scott
of
Engel.
thing. Yeah, 6 Degrees of Scott Engel. But so he ended up. It's a soft cover book. It's on Amazon. I don't take a dime for it. I've not that it's made
Right.
Grisham money.
Right, but that's
But
fantastic.
I don't. It goes to breast cancer.
That's fantastic.
If you don't like it, well, at least you helped a good cause.
Right.
But hopefully it makes somebody laugh. I think it's funny. People that have read it told me it's funny, but
So what kind of stuff do you have in it?
it's literally just
Anecdotes,
it's
your life?
anecdotal things. It's hard for me to explain it.
Is it all from your music history? Do you talk
There's
about
that. There's stories in it. I mean, there's a story about the time when I met Ozzy.
Okay. You realize now you have to share that. Let's hear it.
So there's a wedding in New York, and it's the early 2000s, and go to this hotel, the Peninsula, I think it was, Pennsylvania Hotel. Oh, my train's here. And checking in, and I see this guy's got Black Sabbath on this cross. And I looked at the cross before I looked at him, and I looked at it, and I looked up at him like, standing there checking in. He looks familiar. I couldn't. The quickest thing to think is like, this is the bass player, Bill Ward from Black Sabbath, and it didn't click on me
So
at the time.
I would have thought it's a fan.
No idea.
Is there something?
Yeah. Thought it was a fan. I'm in Manhattan.
Right.
Out in Long Island is Ozfest, but I wasn't thinking about
Right.
it.
You weren't connecting the
I'm like,
dots.
no,
yet. Yeah.
there's a wedding, and
Right.
go to the wedding, come back, and my hair's all out and long, but people think sometimes my hair is connected to this hat. It's not. It's literally connected to my head. But at that time, and I had the nice tux on and going up the steps.
So you're a sight. So you're a tux with like the rock dude hair, and all 6'7" of you. So he's not
I don't want to see
noticing you.
pictures of that time. I don't.
But
I
he's
don't want
not.
to post them.
He's not failing to notice you. You're not.
No. This is early checking in. I'm just dressed normal, and I see this guy, this bass player, right? So I go out. And
Well, what you think is a bass player.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know it at the time. I still didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's literally 10, 11 hours later.
Yeah.
I'm coming up the steps. The lobby's on the first floor, and then you swing around to get to the elevators. So I'm going up the steps, and it was great, man. It was great. It's great. And let's get a drink at the bar. Sit down at the bar.
No one else talks like that, except for maybe Keith.
No one talks like that.
Right.
I sit down at the bar, wait for the bartender to come over. There's only about 7 or 8 people in this thing. It's about, 1, 2 in the morning. And I hear, Fabio! And I went, Ozzy's yelling Fabio at me.
Oh.
He's talking
I didn't even get that.
He's talking to Marilyn Manson. Well, Fabio was big with the,
Right, yeah.
I can't believe it's not butter thing.
Right.
But
And Marilyn Manson's right there too.
sitting on the couch, when Marilyn Manson was with on Ozfest.
Oh, okay.
Black Sabbath or whatever.
Right.
That was that time, whatever that year was. And Sharon was there.
Okay.
And
Were they on TV yet together at that point?
It was going on, but it wasn't on, I think.
Okay, so
They must have, it was in the can, as they call it, it was
right.
done, but I don't know, it didn't explode yet.
right.
Or maybe it did, maybe it already had. No, that was a long time ago, actually. No, so it was already there. But, and I hear Sharon going, what's that commercial with it? I can't believe it's not, what was that commercial? And I'm, you're the bartender, they're behind me. I'm trying not to acknowledge them and not.
Why? Why are you trying not to acknowledge?
Because there's a gigantic man at that end of the bar like this,
Protecting them.
asleep.
Yeah.
And when he heard that Fabio, his eye popped open, he's looking right at me. Is there going to be trouble?
Right. You're not looking for it, but he doesn't know that.
No, I knew that voice, and I turned in there, and I was going to walk over and say,
Yeah.
hi, Ozzy. I didn't say anything to him. I heard Sharon talking to her kids, and I guess her nanny or whomever was,
Right.
she's got her family on tour, so that guy's on point watching
Right.
who's around anybody.
Yeah.
But as a resident a guest of the hotel. They can't run me out of there.
Right, right. So they just have
You're
to
in
be
a
careful.
public area.
Yeah.
But so they end up, I hear them saying, you know, they're going up to their room and whatnot. And Ozzy's finally going to leave, and he comes right over to me. He goes, "Good night, Fabio.
Oh, that's
God bless
hysterical.
you.
That's
I love
hysterical.
you." Now he won't let go of me,
Oh, really? Because he's
and he's holding on to
intoxicated.
me, and I'm hugging him back, and I'm going. I looked at Marilyn Manson, and I looked at the bodyguard, and I'm like, "Is there an off button?" Now he had yelled Fabio at me 4 times, and I'm like, "You just cock blocked me to your manager wife that I wanted to give my disc to." So I go, "Can I have a record deal too?"
Right.
So I didn't care that Ozzy was there. I wanted to talk to her.
Right, right.
She left.
Because she ran his career for all his, she still does. Yeah.
She's amazing. But he had such a nice energy. How are you going to be mad at him?
No, you can't.
He's like, you know, and then
Now,
he walked off.
was he blitzed or was he just being affectionate? Or you don't know?
You ever hear the term Hollywood clean?
No.
I think that means you're not doing drugs, but you will have a drink.
Oh, okay.
So I'm pretty sure that he was having a drink or 3 or 5.
Right, but
dozen.
not 15 with a bunch of lines of coke and he wasn't like
No. Well, not there.
Right.
He wasn't there, you know. But I mean, they had drinks out there. But every time he yelled Fabio, I turned over and he's like, "Oh, you look great, man. You look great." And Marilyn Manson's just like, you know, he's Marilyn Manson. But to see him mortified, he had this look like, it's him, not me.
I just heard, I think, was it on Volume? There was one of the guys from maybe Motley Crue was touring with him, and they were talking about how he just out partied every person in that band. Like,
Did you see The Dirt on Netflix?
no, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Well, first off, I felt sad watching it. I wished that I hadn't watched it. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's great," but I watched it and I just was like, I wasn't a big Motley Crue fan.
No.
But I liked their songs. I've gone to see them on tour.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's a great show.
Right.
And there's, you know, diehard fans for any single band.
Right.
I mean, this band's got them.
Right.
But, you know, and every band's got their shortcomings. We probably eat and drink too much. But the stuff that I saw on that thing, I was just like, wow, really? But it made me sad for them. But the Ozzy section in that,
Right.
I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Yeah, he's got all sorts of positive energy going on, even though like his roots are in such sort of dark music in his early days. You know, it wasn't this like positive kind of stuff where you'd sort of smile listening. It's this hard driving heavy metal.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, he gets near you. You know, that, "We love you all."
Right.
He does.
Yeah.
He really does. I mean, I watched the Osbournes. I loved that show.
Oh, it was fantastic.
And he was befuddled.
Yeah.
You know, he couldn't figure out how the.
No, he almost comes across like he's got Alzheimer's. Maybe, I don't know. But there's a brilliant guy behind that facial inability to articulate. I don't know.
Well, there's also the editor,
Right.
who makes everything look nice.
Right. Now, do you think the editor of that show is making him look more or less cognitively challenged?
I imagine that there's probably a lot of stuff that never made
Right.
light of day.
Yeah.
And it's probably in somebody's, you know, every guitar player got the isolated Eddie Van Halen solos that the board guy like cropped everything out, and he was like, "Hey, you guys aren't going to pay me overtime? Yeah, okay, here that goes.
Right. Someday I can get right.
Here's the drunk Eddie Van Halen solo.
Right. Right.
I think next time to pay me my overtime."
Right. That's probably true.
So, you know, it's sad, but it happens, and I'm sure that there's footage that
That would
is
think.
probably not flattering.
Right. That's what I would guess. But yeah, he seems like pure positive energy.
He was super
So
sweet.
about 20 years ago.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Really?
I just got weird. This is the.
You've been watching for way too long. You've probably eaten through all your Doritos. You probably double dipped all the chips in the salsa. Nobody's liking that, so just dump it out.
It's inappropriate.
No, it's very
We've been going.
unacceptable.
The mark of a great show. I feel like we're 15 minutes in. We just got to know we're an hour in. This is fantastic.
I'm sorry.
No,
It's not. There's nothing fantastic about it.
Oh, there is.
Love of my life sitting over there going, "Would you shut up? We got to go. The dogs are waiting." Hi,
So-
baby.
We will wrap it up, but I have an Alice Cooper story.
Wrap it up.
So many years ago, probably 20 years ago, my ex-wife and I are in Florida. Probably 25 years ago.
She wasn't your ex at the time?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, man, you're hip.
We're still good friends.
Okay, good.
But we're at this generic hotel, and I mean a generic, like a Holiday Inn-ish hotel,
Yeah.
7-8 miles in from the beach.
Okay.
$120 a night rooms, like nothing fancy. Every day we would go to the pool, and there was this nerdy guy with like dark hair would just go there and hang out a little bit. And her friend's mom was there, who I guess was in her mid-70s at the time, and that woman would periodically chat with him. And on the third or fourth day, we find out it's Alice Cooper who's in town to golf. And him without makeup, it is just, you know, hanging out at a pool, not in a zillion years. Not in a zillion years.
Did you ever see him live?
No.
His show's great.
He would probably be fantastic.
Oh no! I went to see one like 5 or 6 years ago, and I went.
Well,
Alice Cooper.
Yeah, I know, because I always thought of him as sort of.
It was awesome.
Really.
It was awesome. He always has great players. He can still sing his stuff.
Well, that's like, I mean, I could talk forever. You think like the Sex Pistols. You think, well, they're not going to have good musicians, but you listen to the quality of the studio production and whomever they hire. Lou Reed always had great guitar players.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't really a great guitar player himself, but. I could talk forever to you, but I guess we got to wrap it up.
Yes. Otherwise, well, I don't think. Are you still there? Wake up! Okay.
All right. So now, AmishOutlaws.com, right?
That is the website that has the story, the bios, the where to go and find us. It has all sorts of fun stuff.
All the dates you'll be playing.
All the dates we'll be playing. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram and the Twitter.
Right.
Although I think Twitter's just for politicians and comedians myself.
That's all it's about now.
If you go over to YouTube, there's a show that we did. There's several episodes of Lunch with the Amish Outlaws.
You guys are
I think
foodies,
it's
I
funny.
know.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not that impressive.
This is all shirt fat right here. It's not actual fat. Yeah. Anyway, but that's funny. I liked doing that. There are about 700 videos of us playing live from little tiny places to great big places. The quality is of varying nature. We do live video sometimes depending on the Wi-Fi signal from where we're playing.
Oh, really? Like a live feed, in other words?
Yeah, Facebook Live.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's behind stage, sometimes it goes in front. And obviously there's drastic changes in sound, and the microphones on a cell phone aren't, you know.
Right. Yeah, they're not the same.
It's not this. But that's why Prince was crazy about any live video getting up on him. He didn't like the quality of the video. He didn't like the quality of the audio.
Or his performance.
Yeah, but you asked me about underrated guitar players.
Oh, he was fantastic.
He's one of the biggest. You only thought of him because of his pop style and his songs.
No, I've watched. He's a gunslinger.
That guy had a deal with God when he played Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It didn't rain the entire time. He kicks into Purple Rain. It was like somebody said,
it was
yeah,
crazy.
cue the rain, turn it purple, please.
Yeah, and then everyone followed him. All right, I could keep going.
As good as that.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
That was a bad. Let me try again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't get
that
it
again. I'm always bad with that.
Yeah,
And thank you if you watched. Thanks for indulging.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for joining us on Guitar Tales. This is new to me. This concept. Apparently, you're supposed to hit like. I don't know what exactly that means, but it helps the show. We have Nixon's Head coming up. We're in the process of booking them. I know that their guitar player was in Memphis recently. He was in England. So I messed that up. Let's edit that out. He was in England recently, but we'll have Nixon's Head best. We're going to have Jim Slade and Andy Rosenau. We will see you next time on Guitar Tales.